Oh gosh, it's a big one. There we go. All right guys, so this is a good opportunity to talk about my setup on the bigger urchin Coike style baits. This is a 19 millimeter hags. It's closer in size to the full cast. I'll clip some fish catches in. We just caught one right there, so, and it threw my bait off, so I thought this might be a good time to go through the setup. There's the hook, there's the bait. Again, that's a 19 millimeter hags prickly pear. In my opinion, the hags is probably going to be the best value as far as these bigger urchins are concerned, especially considering if you buy a full cast Coike on the internet, if you get it on eBay or something, man, people are paying $100 for these things. Kind of crazy, but if you see some, you better snag them. But that is a 1/0 BKK treble hook, and I already had these before I started throwing urchin style baits because I use these on glide baits. This is my go-to glide bait hook. It's kind of a 2x strong glide bait hook, but I've got a 1/16 ounce tungsten XPS nail weight. I use that in a lot of my Nico style baits, but as you can see here, we just run this nail weight up in the storage hole just like that. I've been using this one for quite some time and I haven't thrown it out. Now that I pulled it out, I'll probably cast it out on the next cast. But at any rate, get away from this metal dock so we don't gash our new boat up. But at any rate, 1/16 ounce seems to be my go-to weight. That's what I always come back to for shallow water on these bigger baits. Now on the smaller baits, I usually use a 32nd, but this is a 1/16, and it works perfect really. Like, you can twitch it kind of fast and still keep it down a few feet deep. But if you're fishing this thing like you saw Chris Johnson, Brandon Polinick, Corey Johnson, a bunch of other people do in that Elite series, that's going to be a good weight for you, or that's the weight that I use. Now they're probably using 22 pound test line, but I'm running 15 pound red label, which is what I normally throw a jig on, and it seems to do well, and it works well with this size bait. You can lay into them, and you saw how good that fish was hooked, and it'll do the job for you most of the time, unless you're around some super nasty docks with great big bass like on Santee Cooper. 15 pound will do the trick for you. I was using 15 pound at Smith Mountain. I'll clip in that 5 or 6 pound or whatever it was I caught on this exact bait at Smith Mountain. That was also on 15 pound line. But I stick my nail weight in the storage hole just like that, and you saw that fish threw the bait off. So periodically you want to probably rotate. I've rotated a few times on this bait. There's a hole, but you're going to want to position the base of your nail weight kind of under your treble. So here's our nail weight. If you just take it like that, just kind of pinch it between your forefinger and your thumb, and then just take the tip of your treble, and you want the tip that is facing the most down when you've got the flat part of your treble up. So this hook will be mostly vertical, and you can get this hook and this hook into the fish kind of like a frog. But take that hook and run it right down next to your thumb there. Don't get your thumb, obviously. And come into the bait about like that, and just get you about a 1/4 inch of plastic. If you can, you see that? Let me see. Yeah, you can see that. 1/4 inch of plastic, and I like to run it down and just kind of straddle one of these tentacles And then if it looks funny, you can just pull it out like that. Now, onto our setup for the 19mm or Coike full cast, your bigger urchin style bait. I have a Daiwa Tatula Elite 7'1" skipping swim jig skipping swim jig rod. It's the Randy Howe model, I do believe. Let me see. Let me get away from this metal dock. This thing's like a magnet. That is, all right, for the setup, we have a Daiwa Tatula Elite 7'1" skipping jig swim jig rod. That's the Randy Howe model of the Tatula Elite. That rod is a 7'1" heavy, rated for lures from 1/4 ounce to 1.5 ounce, 16 to 30 pound line. This rod has a little bit of tip, and it's perfect for this bait because you can skip it just like a jig on this rod. You can give it some action just like a swim jig on this rod, pop it, use it like a jerk bait, whatever. And then about 1/4 of a way into the bend, you're into the backbone. So this is a heavy rod with some tip, absolutely perfect for throwing these larger sized urchin baits. And that is a 150 XG Shimano Curado MGL. That's 8-to-1 in gear ratio, just like you would want with a jig or any other flipping or power fishing type bait. You want a high speed reel because you're jerking these on slack line a lot of the time, and you want to be able to pick your line up quickly and get these hook points into that fish's mouth so you can get them in the boat. But that's it for the Coike or the prickly pear or the urchin or the 6th Sense abstract, the bigger baits. To recap, 1/0 BKK treble hook. That's a 2X treble hook. I'll clip the package in later in the video. 15-pound red label Seagar, Daiwa Tatula Elite 7'1" heavy skip and swim jig rod, Randy Howe model, and a Shimano Curado MGL XG 8-to-1. Any 8-to-1 reel is going to work. Just use your standard rod that you would skip a jig with, and that will get the job done for you. Please remember to subscribe, guys. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate you watching. Catch you in the next one.